Okay, so we're going to talk about default parameters when it comes to functions in JavaScript. And the best way I can show why these are important and why you should care about using defaults is to just jump in with an example. So I'm going to go ahead and declare a function here called make pizza because let's be honest, who does not like pizza? And this make pizza function is going to take two parameters. And let's see, let's go size and let's go type. Now here, it's going to be a pretty simple function. It's just going to return a string. So you can think about this as a function that prints to some kind of computer in the back for the cook to be able to make the pizza. And it's going to say, please make a type or size inch type pizza. Okay, so with that we have declared the function, but as we know, we need to call the function in order to get any kind of output for us to see this thing working. So I'm going to go ahead and call make pizza, and I'm going to pass in 12. I'm going to pass in cheese. So now if I run node and this file, what we will get is please make a 12-inch pizza, 12-inch cheese pizza printed to the back for the cook to be able to make. So now this is where this idea of default parameters comes into play. What happens when we are trying to use a function to do something in our code and we don't pass in the parameters, we don't pass in enough arguments to meet the parameters expected by the function? Let's go ahead and see. So if we run this again, what we can see is in the console here we have please make a 12-inch undefined pizza. So interestingly enough, our code base doesn't fail. There's no errors thrown. All that happens is when we call make pizza runs and it goes ahead and assigns 12 to the size. So it please makes a 12-inch, but because it doesn't have a type given to it, it defaults to undefined. And obviously that's not helpful. I would rather this throw an error, or I would rather this have some kind of default, because making a 12-inch undefined pizza is completely useless for the cook in the back. And we didn't really know that some error happened. So the way that we can use default parameters is simply in our function declaration here, we can set the parameter equal to something. So let's go ahead and set it equal to cheese as the default, because cheese pizza is pretty much the default. So now when we run this function again, what we can see is please make a 12-inch cheese pizza, even though when we called make pizza, we only passed in the argument 12, which was then assigned to the size parameter. So that's well and good and all, but now it kind of feels like, well, what if you don't want cheese? Did that take away our ability to customize our function declaration here? And the answer is no. The return value still is customizable. All we need to do is override the default. So here I could just type in pepperoni, and what we will find is that we now can make a 12-inch pepperoni pizza. And you can assign numbers to defaults. You can assign strings to defaults. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that here and go ahead and say, let's say 12 is the default for size. And so down here, let's say, for example, we don't pass in any arguments. We're just calling the make pizza. And let's see what we'll get here. Please make a 12-inch pizza, cheese pizza. So this is the way that default parameters are used. This is why they're helpful. They kind of keep, there's many different examples of why a default would be useful, but more than anything, it kind of keeps your return statement from giving you undefined in the output, which just isn't very helpful. So that's default parameters.